my heart. I black out the moon. I wait for you to come around. You got me dancing in the dark. I close my eyes, but I won't sleep tonight. Baby, you should come with me. I'll take you to the dark side. Me and you and me, do bad things in the nighttime. Baby, you should come with me, and we can kill the lights, hit the lights, let it black out, hit the lights, let it black out. Blackbird, black moon, black sky, black light, black everything, black heart, black keys, black diamonds, black out, black everything, black everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, black. Nocturnal state of mind, children of the night, but it's the only way of life. It's black holes pulling me inside of this black heart, the black soul underneath this black sky. Baby, you should come with me. I'll take you to the dark side. Me and you and me, do bad things in the nighttime. Baby, you come with me, and we can kill the lights, hit the lights, let it black out, hit the lights, let it black out. Blackbird, black moon, black sky, black light, black everything, black heart, black keys, black diamonds, black out, black everything, black everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, black. Kill the lights, hit the lights, let it black out, hit the lights, let it black out. Blackbird, black moon, black sky, black light, black everything, black heart, black keys, black diamonds, black out, black everything, black everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, all black, everything, black.
Said our hustle's work is never through. We making it cause we making moves. The only thing we know how to do. Said it's the only thing we know how to do. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard, keep partying like it's your job. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard, keep partying like it's your job.
Baby, and drop it. Scrub the floor and just mop it. Show these gangsters how you pop lock it. Don't care what you got in your pocket. I beat the way that you rockin' with that thing. Girl, stop it. Wanna just bang and pop it while the club crowd are just watching you work it out. Got a gang of cash and it's going all on the ball. And it's going fast cause I feel like a superstar. And you may not have it, I might have just broke the law. It's your turn to grab it and I make this whole thing yours. Work it out.
Said our hustle's work is never through. We making it cause we making moves. The only thing we know how to do. Said it's the only thing we know how to do. Work hard, play hard, work hard, play hard. We work hard, play hard. making show job.
All right, I have my notes in front of me.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening and welcome to your broadcast of the Quack and Smite League. I am your host for the night, Bonsai Joe, here with my lovely companions, Raptor, Dottie on the desk with me, and Rectal on your camera. We got a banging set coming up tonight. It's the Resistance and Boony Gang. How are you guys feeling coming into this set?
Oh, this is going to be a fun set. This is number 3 versus number 3 in their respective divisions. Number 3 in the Primal division being Boony Gang. Number 3 in the Oni division being the Resistance. This is going to be a bloodbath, and I'm so excited to watch this. This is going to be a fun set.
Absolutely. We saw It's the Resistance come off of a big statement week last week. There was a fantastic game going on Saturday night. It's the Resistance versus the Kepwi Suns. They played an absolute fantastic set of games against the Kepwi Suns and really stunned us. They still took a 2-1 set loss, but all three of those games super close, super fun to watch. If you didn't catch that VOD, watch it after we're done here tonight. But not now, because you got a good one coming up here. So far, all of the bands are mages. So
Midland's gonna be fun.
yeah, that leads me into my first point. Raptor, you take a look on both sides of these rosters. You got Mark X Wings versus Enemy God on each of the sides of these mid lanes. You gotta ban out these mages because both of those guys are damn good on them. I mean, what do you think this mid matchup's gonna be like tonight?
Actually, I believe it's Austin the Great is the mid and Mark is the carry. At least that's what is on the team rosters.
I believe they've been switching it around the past couple weeks. Mark seems to be a little bit more, a little bit more comfortable in that mid role, and Austin the Great has actually just been really putting out some work here as Set rolls his way through into the picks and bans. Set being found for Boony Gang, Athena going toward It's the Resistance, and Guan Yu as well. So an absolute banger first couple of picks for these teams. I mean, Set got through. How did that happen? And what is your takeaway from that pick?
I don't know. Like, we got 6 bands, right? There's 6 bands in the first phase. How did 3 of the top 5 gods in the game get through? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. Like, Scylla ban is normal, Apollo ban is normal, but Set, Athena, and Guan Yu. This is already shaping up to be an interesting set, and I'm interested to see where Booney goes from here.
Yeah, I mean, lots of good picks still left on the board. I mean, as you can see, the bands focusing out those mid laners, as I was talking about, Mark and Enemy, going to be a little stretched for gods here as these picks and bans continue to go on. But we were talking a little bit beforehand. We know Enemy is going to be in that mid lane. We know Olive and Chino are going to be that dual lane. We don't know the rest of this lineup here for Booty Gang tonight. Is Set going to be on Boomy House? Or are we going to see like Kittens on Feeder playing that Set out of the jungle, or could it even be Kush Sports? I'm not sure. I'm not sure who all is in right now. I was not alerted of the rosters before the game began, but it is just an absolute mystery where these picks and bans are going to go. Athena, Guan Yu, two of the best tanks in the game right now coming out of It's the Resistance. Guan Yu, so strong out of that solo lane. Achilles JC is going to look good on it. How do you feel about that pick?
I'm gonna answer that, but just before I do, Hey, Jeremy, can you unminimize, please, so we can see the 3 picks
Oh, yeah.
that were just made? There
There
we
we
go.
go. Cool.
Okay, so we got Donza, Thoth, and Chang'e. It's my girl Chang'e. I'm already voting the Resistance. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If you were around for season 1, you get that joke. Um, but
Yeah,
anyway,
Chonga, interesting pick. Something that I wanted to talk about last week. We saw it's the Resistance going toward the Raw pick against the Kepri Suns. Uh, I mean, Mark X Wing so comfortable on that Raw, knows that he can do a lot of damage, a lot of objective secure with it. But then decides to go on the Chonga instead this week. You think that's been a practice point for Mark?
um, it could possibly be. Ra and Chang'e are a lot of the same. Both got really big line damaging ults. The only difference is that Chang'e stuns, and that's a big difference. It doesn't do quite as much damage as a Ra ult, but it stuns as well, which is a great team fighting tool. And then her heal, it isn't quite the same. It doesn't give power like Roz does, but it's
Oh,
ooh, okay, I'm gonna stop with that. This is two very spicy comps.
all right. So first off, from Boony Gang, we have the Odin's. What I'm assuming is the Odin support being picked up by Rapid Carnation. There was a little bit of talk about Odin support in our private supports only chat earlier today and yesterday. A lot of good discussion going on as to whether or not he was viable. A lot of people saying we'd rather see him in solo lane, but honestly, I feel like the same goes for Sun Wukong. I think this is going to be an Odin support. We saw Odin get played quite a bit recently, looking like he's coming back toward meta. That big team fight ult might be what Boony Gang's looking for here, especially with a Thoth being able to sit outside it and free cast. That would be just absolutely fantastic in the team fight. But on the other side, the Awilish into the Jingwei, you can get a Jingwei 1 and a Willish ult, and you don't even have to be precise about it. It is just so easy, huge, big knockups. Don't even have to time it that well. Like such good setup for the Awilish.
Not only
Odin,
that, but it counters if they can lock down this Odin very easily.
yeah,
Odin jumps away, a Wish ults him, and they 5-man jump this Odin, and suddenly it's a 5v4.
yeah,
It's this is I love the Odin pick, I really do, because if you Odin cage and then set Wukong, go in there, and Donzaburo and Thoth are free casting in the back line, everyone in that cage is gonna die. I love that Odin cage, a Phantom Veil, or is that what it's called? A Phantom Veil? I rarely see the
Yes.
relic. Okay, Phantom Veil. Yeah. Phantom Veil is going to be necessary, maybe even two, so that that doesn't happen, so that they're not in those cages, and that they do get that damage mitigation. But this Odin pick it needs to be played perfectly, and if it is, I think that Booney takes this one. But I don't know. This is going to be an interesting comp. I can't really call anything until we see it in game.
yeah. No, it's gonna be an absolutely fantastic first game here. I mean, obviously, Set doing that big damage from minute 0 to minute 60. There is absolutely a lot of damage coming out for this Boony Gang side, but ITR so much lockdown. Athena taunt, Guan Yu ult, uh, everything Jingwei has into an Awilish, and just a Chang'e ult. Are you kidding me? So it's really right now what we're seeing is the battle of damage versus CC, and it's going to be interesting to see who takes this one. I think it's going to be Booney just because of the sheer amount of damage on that squad. Set Donzaburo both really good right now. Thoth, if you let him free cast, it's over. But out of this solo lane, I really think Guan Yu is going to prosper against the Sun Wukong. I mean, we've seen this matchup a lot recently. Sun Wukong has a great ability to get out of fights, but if he's not able to sustain in lane early and keep up with the levels, that Guan Yu might get ahead and start to run.
Yeah, for sure, and that's why I was surprised to see the Guan Yu let through, because Guan Yu is probably arguably the best solo laner behind maybe behind Sets, and we're not even seeing set in solo. We're seeing set in jungle going to either Kittens or Kush. So this is I personally favor the Guan Yu over the Wukong, especially in lane, because the Wukong's just never gonna die. The Guan Yu, but the Guan Yu's gonna get a ton of pressure over the Wukong, and so.
Oh, okay.
Wait a minute.
Is that what I think it is? Is that an on-roll enemy god?
No, I think Innie's going solo. I think Kittens is going mid.
That would be on-roll. That would be an SCC solo laner versus this Achilles JC.
Hmm.
And all right, so we got Kittens on feeder in the mid lane. We got Innie in solo. We have Boony House in the jungle, which is something he's been practicing recently. I did note that right before the game. We weren't sure who was going where, but Kitten's on in mid, and then the normal duo lane. At least I'm assuming, depending on where they go. Yeah, looks like that Sun Wukong is heading to the right. So that is a solo lane enemy god, which is not what I expected to see tonight. Personally, but I guess with the return of Davies going jungle yesterday, it was only a matter of time before the rest of the league crumbled into it as well.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly where I was going with it.
Yeah. So, seems like the SCC players in the league are now going back to their main roles, which is quite an interesting development in week 5 of this season here. But that being put aside, some pretty normal starts from each of the sides. Sun Wukong going with that Bluestone. Guan Yu on that tier 1 boots early, less potions, a little bit less sustain. We'll see how that matchup works out. But we are seeing a blue start from enemy, which means we might see an early rotation onto the mid lane from Set as he clears those back XP camps. We are gonna see Achilles gonna be a little bit behind with the push up over right, but look out at the blue buff, almost a steal. Did he get it?
No, he did not.
He did not. Very close, looking for the steal. Very low health in mid lane, both from Simple Fate, who is on okay, so I was wrong with the lineups for both teams. So we can go over this in a moment after the huge early game gank from Boony into the mid lane, but Mark X Wings with a fantastic counter rotation picks up the other mid laner as well. So a 1-1 trade after both jungles, but look out in the enemy jungle. Mark X Wings looking for blood, and he found it. Boony House falling early, so a 2-for-1 trade. Mark Wings going off early on this Wheelish out of the jungle. So it just a fantastic early game counter rotation to the mid lane from Mark Wings. It gets that it's the resistance ahead. Now, getting this team ahead early is what we totally want to see out of ITR. We have seen last week, the big thing with ITR was that in that game 2 that they won against Kepui's Sons was that they got that huge early game lead and really carried it through to the end. I know they almost blew it when it came to team fights later on, but that early game lead is why. But look out. Ooh, huge heal and sustain coming out from Achilles JC, allowing him to stay alive in that solo lane. But this early lead is exactly what ITR needs to really put them ahead. So Mark getting that good lead in mid lane is exactly what I want to see if I am a member of ITR.
For sure. And a part of that was, I think that Kittens did step up a little too far. There was no way Set was going to drop that kill. There was no reason for Kittens to dash up lane instead of back, knowing that Mark was not going to be that far behind Boony. So a part of that was a misplay, but great way, or Mark did a great job. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words. Mark did a great job identifying that.
Oh, look out. Mark Wings behind them, going for that gank. Odin uses that jump, is knocked up. Mark jumping behind, is doing a lot of damage, but doesn't find the kill. Looking for the jump, is gonna try to catch Chino out, and he will fall. So Mark with a fantastic early gank on duo lane is looking for more blood as he jumps on Rapid Carnation, looking to keep going. Does not have the level 5, but still finds the kill off of the jump, off of the blink jump. Huge rotation from Mark Wings, but look out, the counter rotation. Boony House looking to pick up Mark, does not know where he is, but now found him. Looking, there's the blink, going for the spawn, didn't find it, but look out, the Wheelish ult comes in and catches Boony off, but he finds the 3 dash away. So Boony has to retreat after looking for that kill on the Mark Wings. So a failed counter rotation from Boony House means that there's more dual lane pressure here for It's the Resistance over on that left side.
Yeah, for sure. This is exactly what you want to see out of It's the Resistance. What you want to see out of a Wheelish, especially against a set, is shutting him down early, getting that early lead. That's what a Wheelish does best. She pushes early leads incredibly well. For a Wheelish to be 4-0 this early on in the game, I mean, this is scary. They have to find a way to shut down Mark, because right now he's just roaming around and being able to do whatever he wants.
Mark Wings 4-0 on the Wheelish, as you said, is looking so strong. 4 minutes and 53 seconds into this first game of the set. Just a great game, but hey, look out, a red invade is noticed by It's the Resistance, caught out awkwardly with Chonga there low, finds the heal, big knockup from Mark Wings, but Kittens On is going to find the kill. Enemy with a counter rotation. 4 men in this left jungle are gonna find Hercules. MWP a little caught out, uses the Athena dash, tries to go back under tier 2 turret. They are so pushed up so far into that jungle, and It's the Resistance just has to go back to farming. But look out, back in the mid lane, there's still a little bit of a confrontation. Boony House and Rapid Carnation still looking for the Athena, but don't quite find it. Getting back to the lanes, getting back to the farm. But the counter jungling from Mark Wings, able to pick up a back camp and get out of there super safely. Boony Gang had no idea he was back there.
An eye for an eye, a red for a red. That's how you jungle. If you know, he knew that the timers were synchronized up. So he knew that since there were 3 people at his red, he could just go straight to their red and it would be up. So great eyes by Mark. He's playing exceptionally well in this early game.
So back at this mid lane, Simple Fate has to use the ult, stuns both the Thoth and the Odin, but back there is Mark looking for something, doesn't quite find it, goes back to farming, and Simple Fate is going to do the same as there is a pause out, and we get to talk. Let's talk about these lineups. I spoke all before this game started. I was like, to be Mark, it's going to be enemy, mid lane matchup, going to be huge. Guess what? Neither of them are in mid. We got Mark X Wings out of the jungle, Achilles JC in his natural role, and Hercules and Austin both in their natural roles. But we have a Simple Fate in middle as the pause comes out. So that is a twist that I didn't see at all.
Yeah, I did not see it coming either. And honestly, it's got me interested. I want to see how Simple does on this Chang'e, because I don't think we've seen him much at all, if at all. So it's gonna be interesting to see how he does on.
Oh, a huge taunt coming out from Hercules. Finds the Thoth, but he had the dash. Sorry, continue.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say. Okay, well,
the pull, but the Odin gets pulled by the ult. Mark X Wings finds a lot of damage. Boony House focused down the Wheelish, found the kill at the end of the day, but traded his own life for it anyways. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but a big shutdown is coming for the set. Huge damage coming off Simple Fate, trying to find the kill on Big Boss, but doesn't find it. The hieroglyphic assault is absolutely brutalizing Simple Fate out of that mid lane. And over in the solo, we see enemy able to do some really aggressive farming, able to attack the enemy back camps and proxy a wave, and another one is coming up. But out of the duo lane, Hercules comes back. I believe that was an ult from Athena as well as Jingwei, finding a kill on Chino Del Rey on the Donza Burrow. So over in that solo lane, I mean, I talked about it as the game was starting up. You got Achilles versus Enemy. I mean, you know, just by name presence alone, you think in a solo lane matchup that goes enemies every single time, which, I mean, Enemy absolutely has the pressure, has the advantage in terms of gold right now, but in terms of level, it's even. That's not something that I was expecting to say 8.5 minutes into this game. Achilles JC doing fantastic job staying alive, still sitting at 0-0-0 on the slash line so far this game. How do you guys think about how that solo lane is going so far?
I think it's going really well. And if I'm being honest, this is the stage where I think that both of these solo laners will be doing their most. Obviously, late game, Achilles' job will just be to do as much damage, get his ult off, get his abilities off, do as much damage in CC as possible to the back line. While early game,
Look out, Mark with a big engagement, but gets caught out. The Odin ult coming through, but the set dashing in. Huge jump coming out by Mark. The set is caught out, though. Has to run away. 3 people rotate over to him and save their Wheelish from death. Pog, Boomy House Pog, still lurking around as Enemy God is coming over. He might be in an awkward situation. Hercules MWP is around him, but doesn't quite find him as he's going to the enemy speed buff, doesn't find it there. So back to the action at mid lane. 2v2, make it almost 3v3 with Set lurking around. But over in duo, you got Mark X Wings. He's trolling around. He's looking for it. The Donza Burrow going into ult. The huge body block by Mark Wings. That is not something I expected. Oh, and the Athena ult gives the amount of protections to keep Mark alive. Hercules MVP coming in and taking the kill on the Set as he dove to try to find the Awilish, and Mark X Wings is alive. Unbelievable.
that was amazing play by all 3 of them, by Austin, by Mark, by Hercules. If even one of them do something even slightly different, Mark dies there. Like, they played that perfectly.
I do not feel like running.
So Odin taking a look at Simple Fate on the Chonga at mid lane, stole the red buff. We call that an Odin red. But look out, caught in an awkward position as Mark just melts Rapid Carnation. That is a lot of damage in not a lot of time. Look out, this Awilish is getting big.
I mean, this Odin pick, as I said, if Odin is played perfectly, which means not falling behind, by the way, and not being out of position, I think that this Odin pick wins Boony game the game late game. But he has to get to late game first, and he's been caught out of position 3 times now. This is not what we want to see.
Tough situation. They've been playing really aggressive, which is the style of Boony game. They want to try to take away that early lead, but you know, in doing that so far, they've been taking a lot of deaths with it as well. Pretty much everyone but Enemy God have been caught out trying to dive up and steal enemy farm. We know from watching this Boony gang team that they love invading enemy jungles. They love trying to strip that farm away from the enemy. And so far this game, in the right, it's been successful, and the left, not so much.
Yeah, for sure. What I would like to see is for Enemy to start rotating. He has tons of pressure. He's got a 2-level lead over Achilles right now.
There's that level lead.
Yeah. If he starts rotating right about now, Gold Fury Scorpion is being taken right about now by it's the Resistance, it looks like. So
Actually, no, they're looking for a pick on Chino Del Rey. He sees it. The blink in from Mark X Wings, the dash behind, and the stuns and taunts make sure Chino is not going anywhere. Look out, counter rotation. Odin and Set are over there looking to do some damage, or at least just block up that lane and stop the lane from hitting tower. But over toward the Gold Fury buff, they are taking it, and over in right lane, Enemy God getting dove by the Guan Yu and Athena. Big
Fights all over
tank
the map.
battle there. Just pressure all over the map. I believe that was a Hercules' ult, but huge damage numbers coming out. And an ult! Mark Wings claims Boomy's life off of a long-range ult halfway through that mid-tower. Enemy God has to go into his ult over in right lane. He is looking low, a little awkward, and they see him jump. They know where he's at, and they're trying to catch him out. Where's the Odin to save his life? There he is. Big tank battle, the dive in. Mark Wings looking, and he finds the kill again. Oh, Mark Wings 8-1-4, 13 minutes into this game so far. He has done a fantastic job of getting every single lane ahead, minus solo. But at this point, does it even matter?
No, it doesn't. I mean, this is a clinic. That's what Mark is putting down. He is looking so strong on the Awilish pick. If I don't see an Awilish respect ban in game 2, I don't know what Boony Game's thinking, because he's looking way too strong on this god right now.
Yeah, it was it is just so much fun to watch Mark play on this Awilish right now. He just is everywhere on this map. He knows exactly what he's doing, and these rotation, these ganks, these attacks from him have just been clinical. Now, the one thing that we need to do is see where it translates to late game. We need to make sure that they don't lose this pressure, that they keep this current lead that they have, which, by the way, they're still losing in gold, despite the fact that they're up 10 kills.
They're not only losing in gold, Mark is the same level as Boomy.
Yeah. So the farm that's been coming out from this team, even though they have the lane pressure right now, as there's a fight around this Gold Fury, looks like it's going to be a 50-50 take, and Boony Gang is going to take it. Hercules MWP falling to Enemy God, but look out, Set is low. He can't stay in on that fight. It's the Resistance might do a counter push in here, but Boony Gang is going to back off, say, thanks for that Gold Fury, thanks for that kill. We're just going to go back to our lanes.
This is... I mean, like, how can you be down 13-4 and actually be winning the game?
Yeah.
Like, how can you have an 8-1 Awilish on the opposing team and still be winning the game? I did say that Awilish is probably one of the best gods at pushing an early game lead, and they have not used that yet.
Athena ult coming in on Simple Fate to keep him alive with those protections in that mid lane. We see a 3v3 forming. Not sure how stable it's going to be with Mark Wings going over for that speed buff. I mean, the big thing is farm. We talked so much about the Boony Gang stealing enemy farm, as Enemy God is caught way out here. 4 members of the Resistance are going to look for that kill, but with Enemy going into the Somersault Cloud, he's looking to get out. He finds it. So a free ultimate claim, but look out. They catch Mark Wings off. Huge Tiger Stun coming out. Huge 2 or 3 rather from the Odin, and a huge root from Big Bops catches Mark Wings in place for about a half hour. Couldn't really do anything, and he is caught out there. But look out, the jump in by Big Bops finds a kill on Hercules MWP, who was caught very awkwardly around that Odin ult, and Simple Fate is going to fall too. A huge team fight out of this mid lane, completely ran by this Odin, lets Enemy God get out alive, and they're going to claim probably 4 kills off this if Achilles JC falls here, which it looks like he will. Hieroglyphic Assault coming out from the Thoth, but Achilles JC is alive. Jeez. But look out, Set is in the spawn, swings but doesn't kill. So yes, Achilles JC does come out of that alive. A 3-for-0 trade for Boony Gang on that team fight, and it all started with catching Mark Wings out there.
I mean, this is what happens when you A, don't push a lead as Awilish, and B, get caught slipping as an Awilish. Awilish is a heavy snowball character, as let you take this one real quick.
Yeah, Chino Del Rey looking pretty low, finds a kill on Hercules, and might actually find the kill on Austin the Great here as well, looking for the rotation, waiting for Mark. They know it's coming. Does he know which leaf it is? There's the leaf. So Enemy God's over here as well, though I believe he used the teleport glyph to come on over to the left lane and assist there, but Big Bop's caught mega out by Simple Fate. Huge damage coming in. Mark Wings, though, is looking awkward there. Finds a jump, but doesn't quite find it. Fantastic Aegis to keep himself alive, but not for long enough, as Simple Fate is going to fall under the tier 2 tower as well. Somersault Cloud coming out from Enemy God, doing huge damage.
That was some very bad pathing by Simple Fate. He had no reason to come from that way. He should have just gone back to mid and continue farming. He had no reason to go there.
So we talked so much about how this early game looked so strong from It's the Resistance, as another fight happening here. Odin ult coming out says, here, go in this cage. See you in jail. Enjoy your death. Austin the Great not able to stay alive there, as the Guan Yu ult coming out looking for a kill on the Odin, but doesn't quite find it. Set taking some huge damage from the tower. Achilles JC falls to Enemy God. Just an absolute clinical team fight. You know, I told you that this early game looked fantastic, but it's all about the late game in this matchup against this Boony Gang team, who have looked absolutely fantastic on these team fights. As Simple Fate picks up a kill underneath the tower. Pog, Booming House, Pog falls. Hercules MWP also falling as well. So, Rapid falling to Hercules. I was reading the wrong name there. So it looks like we're going to get a counter push from It's the Resistance here. This late game is exactly what Boony Gang needs to capitalize off of, which they have been doing so far. But right now in this fight, ITR looks like it might have the edge. Thoth pushing back up. Big Bop's doing some damage with a Hieroglyphic Assault. And Mark Wings looking to catch something out, doesn't find it, was looking for a knock-up. He had the ult ready. He wanted to catch someone out, but didn't quite find it there. So, you know, last time I got a chance to actually say something analytical about this game, it was 13-3. Now it's 16-12. Boony Gang has just looked absolutely fantastic in these team fights so far. Mark Wings uses the jump in, but Big Bop's using Final Judgment to pick off that kill. Thoth ult down.
This is okay. I did make 2 points. And both of them are coming true right now. I said this Odin can win them the game if he gets to the late game. We're reaching the late game, and this Odin has found cage after cage, and they have gotten at least one kill out of it. This Odin has reached late game, as I said. This Odin can win them the game with a few more good cages. 2, I said that this Awelish has to push the lead she's got. She went from 8-1 to 8-4. She is now probably half a level behind. Yeah, about half a level behind this set. She did not push the lead. Mark did not push that lead, and it's costing him.
I don't necessarily think that it was mostly Mark not pushing out the lead rather than the other lanes. I mean, no one really had the pressure in their lane, and even after Mark ganked, it was still a struggle to find, as Achilles JC is found in the Odin ult, that cage going out. Huge damage, though, coming from the Jing Wei. Austin the Great absolutely punishing them for grouping up. He uses that attack stim. Oh, and the Awelish ult comes out. Enemy God is going to fall there. Hercules MWP picking up that kill. Jingwei ult coming out. Big damage. Rapid Carnation looking to get out. Chino Del Rey caught a little too far forward. They're going to look to try to find this Thoth. Trying to do huge damage with Hieroglyphic Assault. Finds Final Judgment on Mark Wings. And look out. Oh, that is a Hercules MWP that's going to have to run from that fight. Just absolute big baller damage coming out from Big Bops on this Thoth. I mean, just as I was about to talk about It's the Resistance not really using that pressure that they found early game to push their lead. Over in solo lane, we saw Enemy God just taking every single back camp he could find. He was proxying 3/4 of the waves. He had all the pressure over there. I mean, Simple Fate, like, as much as Mark was able to get kills out of that mid lane, Simple Fate wasn't able to stay alive that much early game either. So it was kind of a stalemate at mid, and over in the duo lane was also kind of a stalemate as well. I mean, you know, maybe Mark does need to look for some of those lane pushes. Oh, excuse me, rather than going from lane to lane to find kills. But I mean, it's kind of an all around situation from It's the Resistance rather than one person.
No, that's I totally agree with you. And I was gonna say that that Wheelish, it isn't that he didn't push the lead himself, it's that he didn't use the lead to help his other teammates get ahead.
Right.
And as you said, Enemy was just proxying, he was stealing every back camp. That was one of the big reasons why Boomy was able to stay on level. And that's a big reason why Achilles is 2 levels down. Enemy was just able to free farm over there, which as a Wukong is what you want.
Gold Fury coming out from Boony Gang, set, able to push up. Odin ult gets the secure. Oni Fury falling in favor of Boony Gang, so that is a huge boost for Boony Gang going forward. But look out, Simple Fate really caught in a bind. All 5 members of Boony Gang there. Athena ult coming out, gives him those procs, tries to keep him alive. The 3 coming out, the taunt coming out, trying to keep them off of Simple Fate. How is that man alive? Everything in the book used on Simple Fate minus the ult basically, but look out. The team fight is coming in, and Buddha Gang has pretty much everything, but Odin ult. Mark Wing's gonna fall, looking to dive the backline and find kills back there, but his own backline had to fall back. So a big turn from Boony Gang onto that backline. O'Wheelish found the kill on Mark Wings, and Boony Gang is gonna take this lead and push with it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they have to do. They're going to take this tier 2 tower and probably go straight for fire. Or no, Donza just cleared that Greater Scorpion, so it is not up yet. That Scorpion took 25 minutes to clear.
Yeah, that tends to be what I've been seeing out of Conquest games recently. A lot of people are forgetting to pick up those Scorpions and spawn the Fire Giant. I think a lot of teams have been hesitant to do it. I know sometimes I just forget that they're there. But yeah, that's been a pretty consistent theme. The Greater Scorpions not being taken until really late. But Fire Giant is now spawned after that 30-second timer is up. They're going to start up this Pyro. It's the Resistance. Might be looking for a steal here. Doesn't go in on it at all. So they're just going to let them have that Pyromancer. And Boony Gang, I mean, they're just going to really look up to grabbing this Fire Giant and playing with this lead that they have. 10K gold lead off of nothing but farm. Nothing but farm.
It's not only a 10K gold lead. Everyone on Is the Resistance minus Austin the Great is level 18. Might be level 19 now since we looked away. I haven't checked. But everyone on... Yeah, there's a few level 19s. But everyone on Boony Gang is level 20. Except for Rapid. Rapid fell behind because he did get caught out a few times, while Hercules is 6 and 3 as an Athena. But it's just, I don't know. As I said, late game, this Boony Gang comp can win. This Odin pick can win them the game. And so far, I've seen multiple great cages, and just 1 or 2 more great cages can end this game for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So as there is a big fight coming in here, an Odin cage coming out. They're going to look for the Guan Yu getting low. Austin the Great finding Pog, Boomy7 Pog, who dove into that backline and paid for it. The entire team of It's the Resistance looking to turn on Enemy God, who is just chasing Mark Wings down, looking for that kill. Doesn't find it. Austin the Great using ultimate to go over the wall. Look out, though. Boony Gang collecting themselves back up as a team, looking to push up. Might be looking on this Phoenix here as the big damage is coming in. Big Bop's just able to free cast a little bit back there. You got Mark Wings looking for the jump, looking for any damage he could find as he is rooted, and more free casting coming out from Big Bops. Look out as the team fight settles. Chino Del Rey falls, but look out. Mark Wings gets the ult onto the Odin and finds a kill. So It's the Resistance turns this team fight. back around, and it all started with Pog, Boony7, Pog, diving that back line, looking for those kills, got Mark low, got Austin low, but didn't find either of those kills. That is where that team fight went wrong for Boony Gang. A little bit of a awkward engagement. As speaking of awkward engagements, as the Fire Giant is pushed up on by Enemy God, looking for the steal, tries to find a huge knockup, but he finds the kill anyways. That is a huge steal. Enemy God had gotten knocked up by Mark Wings, but still found an incredible steal as Mark Wings falls in the back line to the set. Big Bops doing some absolute free casting. Why is no one going for the Thoth? Focus the Thoth. Oh my lord. Don't worry about the set. Okay. What is going on? Pog, Boony7 Pog able to pick up, I believe that was either a double or a triple kill off of It's the Resistance, and that is just a botched fight for It's the Resistance, don't you think?
It was a double kill for Boomy and it was a double kill for Big Bops. And exactly what It's the Resistance did wrong is exactly what I was going to criticize Boony Gang doing wrong on that initial fight. The fight calling, they were just not on the same page. They were everywhere, and they did not focus a single target. And that is what cost Boony Gang in that first fight. They did not focus the people in the cage, and they ended up paying for it.
I'm not sure who the shot caller is for It's the Resistance, but whoever it is needs to be listened to, because they were just all over in that fight. And I mean, you know, as you said, it was the same mistakes that Boony Gang had in the fight just right previously. They were not together. One of them had an awkward dive into the backline that cost him his life. And then the rest of them, it was a split. You saw Enemy chasing. You saw Chino up just a little too far. You know, an awkward grouping. It was like two groups of two against like a 5-man grouping. It's the Resistance played that fight perfectly. But then on the return fight, you saw Boony Gang play the fight perfectly. You saw them focus down that Fire Giant, take the engagement where they knew they could get it. Enemy God, as we were talking about, a fantastic steal, got 1, 2 knocked up once or even twice, and was still able to find the Fire Giant steal.
Oh no, he was hard CC'd, and that's why I was saying the shot call just not listened to by the entire team, because they could have easily turned and burned Enemy and then secure the fire. Sure, you might deal with a set, but I think that I'd rather deal with a set who you can burn very easily than an Enemy than a Wukong who just doesn't die.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm into the Resistance there, I think you drop that Fire Giant, which I think was the call. We saw a couple of them drop off.
We saw Austin and Hercules go to CC Enemy, but I believe it was Simple and Achilles who were still on the fire. They were just splits, and they were not on the same page.
Yeah, so it was that Fire Giant fight right there. If It's the Resistance drops that, stays coordinated, and wipes Boony Gang, I think this game might be theirs, or at least much turned in their favor. But instead, we have a Boony Gang 15K gold lead at the moment, and just absolutely playing with it. I mean, you know, this is a lead that we've seen them rack up throughout this entire game, you know, minus the early game when they were, you know, just even on gold, but down in kills. You know, we saw that fantastic early game pressure from Mark Wings that Boony Gang played off of and still got good farm off of it, and we're seeing the payoff from it now. If Boony Gang doesn't play like that early and falls behind, then we don't see this lead that they have now. But look out. Big damage coming out on the set. The Odin Cage comes out. Simple Fate picking up that kill on Boomy House. Athena ulting on the Guan Yu into the back line. They're looking for the Thoth. They're focusing them. Chino Del Rey falls under Phoenix range, and they are split. Boony Gang So Simple Fate finds the kill on the Thoth, and look out, it's just the 2 tanks left. Enemy God and Rapid Carnation, the only 2 left. But look out, that Titan is getting low, about 2,500 health left on the Chaos Titan. Mark Wings able to find a knockup on Rapid Carnation, still able to do big damage, but might have to jump out there as enemy falls in. He's got backup coming, though. You have a Guan Yu and a Simple Fate Chang'e on their way, and the Odin is able to back off. Rapid Carnation backing off there as It's the Resistance has all of their Phoenixes respawning soon. This is a huge defense here, just as we saw in the game last week. Who
Don't save the Phoenix.
they did not. They didn't save that middle Phoenix, but they're going to look to save the left one. This is exactly what we saw last week from It's the Resistance. Just a great job late game of keeping their Titan alive, keeping the Phoenixes alive. But with that Phoenix not respawning, that Titan is going to heal much slower. So we might see a big final push from Boony Gang here. If they find it, they can win. If not, that is another great fight that could be taken for It's the Resistance. But look out, big grouping up here around the Fire Giant, 5v5. They're dancing. Fire Giant is low. Looking for the steal is Austin the Great. Doesn't quite find it. Uses the ult, jumps in, gets caught in a Odin cage, but huge damage coming out. Pog booming out of Pog, looking a little low. Simple Fate picking up the kill there as Austin the Great and Achilles JC fall into the side of It's the Resistance inside of that Odin cage. Fantastic use of that Odin cage to pick a few people out, but Chino Del Rey picking up the kill on Hercules MWP, and Simple Fate looking low, trying to get out, might not find it, and he doesn't. Simple Fate falling, Enemy God picking up the kill there. They're looking to catch out Mark Wings here. Huge stun coming out from the Odin. Jump around from Mark Wings, looking to go back down lane. Can kind of get there as he's getting chased, but a huge blink from Odin says, no, stay right where you're at, Mark Wings. I am going to deicide you. That finishes out this game. They are going to take this Phoenix, take this Titan, and game 1 of this set goes to Boony Gang in 35 minutes.
I mean, did I not say that a good Odin cage could end the game? I know that the Odin cage was not what ended up winning them the game, but it put the fight massively in their favor from the very beginning. The Rapid looked really good on this Odin. He just got caught out a few too many times in the early game, and that's why his scoreline isn't the best. But I just want to talk about big bops on this Thoth. Surprised me. I wasn't sure what to expect. I hadn't seen much of him play in the mid lane, and much less on Thoth. He looked really good. 37k damage, top damage in the game. That's crazy.
Yeah, we had a lot of surprises in this game. I mean, Mark Wings early just took us by storm. I was just nothing but shocked at how the early game played from Mark. He struggled in that late game. I mean, we all saw it really, with this big grouping team fight from Boony Gang, he was just having a really tough time focusing out one target, picking them off and finding the kills. But I mean, we saw just a great late game from Simple Fate and Austin the Great, able to do just some big damage numbers. I mean, going down the line of It's the Resistance, Hercules MWP made so many good plays to CC the enemy team, find the ults that gave his teams as many protections as possible. And I mean, Achilles JC early game kept right on pace with Enemy God. I mean, pretty much everyone on this It's the Resistance roster has something good to take away from for this first game in the set. But listen, we still got 2 more games here to play. They looked great, but on the other side, I cannot talk enough. Chino Del Rey got caught out a lot in that game, 7 deaths, but still somehow picked up 32,000 damage. This seems to be Chino Del Rey's MO. He may not find those kills. He may not find that early game, but I mean, late game, he does nothing but hit huge gold numbers, huge damage numbers, and that is the Chino Del Rey that we've known and loved, throughout these weeks of the QSL so far. Pog, Boomy House Pog, we saw initiate a couple of bad fights, but also in turn was able to pick off a lot of really good kills. And when he focused the team, he knew that he could do a ton of damage. He had some fantastic Kingslayers late game that combined with those Odin ults from Rapid Carnation that really just put in some huge damage numbers and took out that back line as much as he could find. But I mean, Rapid Carnation on the Odin, we saw some huge cages. That is, the main factor in a lot of those late game team fights. We saw it from about minute 15 on, nothing but Odin ults, nothing but Odin stuns, just continuing to come out from Olive, and he was basically unkillable by the end of the game. I mean, we saw him die 4 times early game, and he only died 1 time after. Big Bops just doing huge damage numbers, free casting pretty much the entire game. They really it's the Resistance really needed to focus him more, but it's so hard to focus him when you got Enemy God just farming like a machine. Just absolute early game master, kept Boomy House in it. If Enemy God doesn't get that pressure he does in the jungle early game, Boomy House might fall behind a lot worse than he did early, and might really struggle in that late game. Enemy is my MVP for this game one. Just being so suppressive early game and just taking away as much XP as possible, just was an absolute well-oiled machine in that solo lane.
For sure. I mean, I can't add any more as far as praise goes, but I can give a little advice, and this goes to both teams, but especially it's the Resistance because it ended up costing you the game and costing you multiple fights. Listen to your shot callers. There were multiple times when, and Boony Gang is guilty of this too. There were multiple times when you could tell the call was cage in Guan, cage in Athena, cage in Simple. They have no escape. Cage in these gods, and then just burn them down. And then Odin would cage. Thoth and Boomy would go on. Big Boss and Boomy would go in on them, but Chino and Enemy would be on the back line. Both teams need to work on listening to their shot callers and listening to or attacking the primary targets. As you said, Big Box was just free casting. He should not have that 20,000 damage taken should not be that low. He should have a much higher damage taken. He was free casting the entire late game, and that is why he did so much damage. And yeah, I don't know. Both teams just need to listen to their shot callers and clean up these team fights. But if that happens, then I think that we are in for a really, really good game too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Even if that doesn't happen, I think we're in for a really, really good game too. But as far as MVP goes, I really don't know who to give it to because I mean, Big Bops is the obvious candidate, going 8-4 and 11 top damage. Enemy is just Enemy. He's a Wukong. He doesn't die. He just does tons of damage. He's a nuisance to the back line. Chino, despite going 4-7, still did his job, doing tons of structure and player damage. Rapid, as I said, the game can win off an Odin cage, and we saw that in the last fight and a few fights before that. He had some great Odin cages. Boomy, we can talk about him later. No, I'm kidding. Boomy played really well too on this set, matching the Wheelish, even though he was really far behind kills wise. So I don't know. I think I'm gonna agree with you and give it to Enemy, but I think that all 5 of these guys are really good candidates for MVP.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a fantastic first game.
Yeah.
Jeremy, can you go ahead and queue us up for game 2? Because I believe our guys are ready.
Will do. I'll just pull it up over to this screen while I get the game up and running.
Looking in chat, Dre says that the Odin pick low-key turned the whole game. I 100% agree. I said that in picks and bans. I stuck with that throughout the game. I think that this Odin pick did really well, and I would not be surprised if we see Odin again. I don't understand why we didn't see a Phantom Veil, because they had 3 gods who could not get out of that Odin cage. A Phantom Veil probably would have saved them in a few. It's probably would have saved the resistance a few of these team fights. So I don't understand why we didn't see that relic come out.
I will also give my 2 cents for who I would
yeah,
say.
I don't want to forget our
I
lovely
I
Jeremy.
am actually not gonna give an MVP for this match because, like, you guys did say, Odin had a lot of influence in that game, for sure in the team fights. But I think despite his best efforts, he almost threw the game away a little bit there in the early. So I can't really give an MVP off of that. And Enemy did not exactly look entirely too sharp. He was able to get pressure, but he didn't really do a whole lot with it. So, and those are the 2 best candidates in this game for MVP. So I'm going to abstain.
There you go. Yeah, my thoughts when giving Enemy MVP there is that he kept up. He just suppressed so much farm early game, and then the late game Fire Giant steal, and just the absolute pressure that he had with the Tiger stuns, with all the CC, the big slows, just an incredible, incredible amount of just pressure on the enemy team coming out from Enemy, and that's the reasoning behind my MVP vote. But Achilles JC just, was able to keep up with him early game, minus the jungle invades, and it looked like a really, really good, really good solo lane matchup between those 2. All right, are we queued up and ready, Jeremy?
We are in fact queued up, so we are just waiting for the game to start.
All right, I let them know that we are ready.
All right, so Bonsai, let me ask you this: going into picks and bans, what are you looking for changes wise for either team?
You know what? Leave the set. I know, I know that's a controversial thing. I know that is a thing to really kind of look down upon. Leave the set if you are. It's the Resistance. I didn't think Boomy House was the most oppressive, overpowered set that I've ever seen in my life. Now, he still played well on it, still got those huge dives, and that's not anything against Boomy, but when you have an enemy god out of the solo lane, and you have these other gods that you need to take away from Boony Gang, I don't think set is your number 1 priority in terms of bans.
I'm gonna give you guys a weird thing right now. It seems that both teams are opting to stay in the same
That
position.
that is the losing team's choice. So it's the Resistance chose.
Nope, that's the wrong place. Sorry.
No, you're good. So it's
Well,
the
we
Resistance
see
chose
Scylla
to pick
first.
second.
Yeah.
No, it's a Scylla ban, which is pretty standard, as well as the Nuwa. I guarantee you we're going to see a Raj. And oh no, we see the set ban come out from Boomy.
Oh, Boomy didn't want to play the set again, so that is gone. Donzaburo's gone. Giannis is gone.
There's going to be a Rajan ban, calling it, because that's what it's a Resistance ban for game 1. And
Well, they didn't ban the Donzaburo. They banned the Apollo game 1. I think they might go for it again. Having Chino Del Rey on this Apollo, would be a very terrible pickup for It's the Resistance. So Athena coming out. Yeah. Athena, very very high up pick right now, is going to come out first for Boony Gang, and I think that is a great pick there.
It really is, and Herc did a lot on that Athena. Unfortunately, it just was not enough for the situations they were put in. As a Tsukiyomi comes out, as well as a Yamoja. Okay, so I got a question for you. If Tsukiyomi ults Athena as Athena's ulting, does he teleport to Athena if Athena's sent to the opposite side of the map?
That is a fantastic question that I hope that we solve, because that would be very fun to see. Yamoja coming out, one of Herc's favorite picks. Hercules MWP practiced a lot of that Yamoja in Season 7. Might be looking for it well, obviously is looking for it here today in season 8. A lot of the concerns with Umoja right
You
a
know
lot
firsthand the Umoja, the hurt Umoja.
yeah. Uh, Ganesh and Guan Yu picked up from Boony Gang. That's an Athena jungle.
That is an Athena jungle, and it
That's an Athena jungle.
would be Boomy to pull it out.
Of course, it would be Boomy to pull it out. That
Are we
is
seeing a Changa hover and a Changa lock in? I did not think that who was it? I'm
Simple
blanking.
Fate.
I did not think that Simple Fate looked bad on the Chunga, but I thought that there was if he had a different mid laner, if he had more of a bursty mid laner, a lot of those fights would have gone better for the resistance. So you know from season one, I love Chunga. I think that she is an underrated god through and through. I think that she can do a lot. But last game, I just did not think that she was what they needed. Maybe with this new comp, it will work out better.
Yeah, the Chonga pickup, I mean, Simple Fate late game was doing some big damage when he was staying alive, and I mean, really came through. Uh, the one thing that I want to see him change in his game this time around is getting that early pressure. If he finds the kills on the enemy mid laner, if he gets Mark to rotate on that Tsukiyomi, find some early ganks, I want him to play with a lead because last game he just couldn't find it. He stayed in a pretty much mid stalemate for the entire time, and I want to see him try to keep up and push forward. So bans coming out. It's the Resistance getting rid of the Thoth and the Cupid. Boonigang getting rid of the Jingwei pick and the Sun Wukong. On her coming out from It's the Resistance. That's a pick that we've seen go on Austin the Great quite a bit recently. He's been playing it a lot, especially here in the QSL. What do you think of it?
On her, so I like. Oh, hold on. We're talking about
Kyron.
on her later. We got a unlock in by Chino.
Kyron looking real strong recently. Almost guarantee you that we're going to see that blue stone pendant coming out from Kyron. But here's the one thing that I've noticed about Kyron so far in these recent patches where he's gotten pretty big. You need to stop him early. If this Kyron finds a lead, he can play with it so well, especially if he goes into that bluestone build. But if he gets behind early, he may struggle to come back big time. So I think we're going to see some real suppressive ganks coming out from Mark Wings onto this duo lane. He wants to get rid of that Kyron early, and I would not blame him. As the Odin pickup comes out from It's the Resistance, that is going to be a solo lane Odin. So we're going to see Odin in a little bit of a different role. But here is something that we saw a little bit in a recent mini league scrim. That mini league scrim featured a Yamoja Odin comp that absolutely rolled late game team fights. Odin alt, Yamoja alt locks them in for so long. And that allows your Changa, your On Her, your Tsukiyomi to deal as much damage from outside of those ults as possible. I mean, that is such a huge combo. I almost think that these comps are flipped. I think that late game, It's the Resistance might have this one in comparison to Boony Gang. Just, you know, yeah, Kyron and Raijin get big late, but if On Her builds Pen, if you get Pen on Tsukiyomi and Changa as well, those big tanks are gonna fall a little bit faster. And if you suppress the Kyron early, he may not find that lead. He may not do a whole lot of damage late game. You Odin alt, Yamoja alt, take out Raijin and Kyron. We might not see as much damage coming out of the three big tanks that Boony Gang is running right now.
Yeah, and I will say I'm a little upset that I didn't, or I shouldn't say upset, sad that Rapid didn't go back to that Odin, especially with the Yamoja. Changa hadn't been picked yet, but especially with the even just the Yamoja, having that Odin cage for that anti heal is just so nice into Yamoja, and you lock a Yamoja in and you keep her in a small space, so she's forced to ult when you ult, and that is, I think I would rather force out a Yemoja ult than lose my Odin ult. Well, I shouldn't say that. I would rather use my Odin ult to force out a Yemoja ult than the other way around. And I wish he went back to the Odin, but I'm interested to see how this Ganesh works for him. And as you said, Yamoja puts up the ult, and it's just a red carpet for that Chunga waxing moon. Like, it is a red carpet. Me and Herc ran that comp so many times in season 1 of the QSL, and so this is going to be interesting. I think that Simple Fate has a much better team around him to perform on this Chunga. I'm interested to see this on her Chiron lane. That's what I'm interested to see. And hopefully Boony gets a Phantom. That's all. That's the last I'm gonna say. But prediction, I think as much as I've been hyping up this Resistance squad, I think I have to give it to Boony again. They just look so much better as a team, and I think that they have a really good team fighting comp, no matter how good Resistance is late game. I think that if Boony can get off to a good start, I think that they take this game.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a lot about how this late game team from It's the Resistance might just absolutely dominate, but Guan Yu just simply beats Odin in a lane. Enemy God is going to find the early pressure, and he is going to once again just dive those back camps, find as much farm as possible. And I really don't think, I really don't think Odin has much of a chance to counter that. I mean, nothing against Achilles JC. Obviously he played so fantastic last time, but it's so hard to get pressure against a Guan Yu as Odin. So it'll be very interesting to see how that solo lane continues to go, if Achilles is able to keep up, or if enemy is just going to run straight into the enemy jungle like he did last time. And then, I mean, we need to see early ganks from Tsukiyomi onto the Chiron, or actually maybe not. He didn't even build Bluestone, so we're not seeing that same Bluestone Chiron build that we've been seeing a lot recently. So Chiron still has that late game potential if he still gets down early, but I don't think it'll snowball as hard as if he were to have Bluestone, in my opinion.
Can you I know that we're both carries, but I haven't played Chiron since I got into Mastery 1, which was 2 years ago. So what's the hype behind Bluestone Chiron? Like, why do you say Bluestone Chiron?
So I mean, that 1, that 2, you use those in quick succession. That's just that's big damage there. You get the Bluestone to proc. You get that damage over time, and in that duo lane, when you can use abilities like that from far away, I mean, you can hit that Chiron 2 from halfway down the lane as long as they have a stack of anything on them. Like, you hit them once with an auto, you can use a 2, get damage over time. You hit them with your 1, you can use a 2, get damage over time. Oh, but he actually got dash first. Chino opting to go with Chiron's dash. Well, it might have been second now that he hit level 2, but
it was second, yes.
Goes with the dash level 2. So Dash is in on that fight, and huge pressure already over in that dual lane. We are definitely going to see Tsukiyomi run over there as quick as possible, as Boomy House looked for the solo lane gank but didn't quite find it, as some rotating back toward mid lane after getting the left middle Harpies came from It's the Resistance. Now, the big Bluestone procs is just something that has really carried Chiron, especially because of how much damage that 1 does early from Chiron. Like, at level 1, I think it hits for almost 200. It's kind of stupid. But, I mean, late game it falls off, so that Bluestone is what you want to keep it relevant late game.
All right, I see. Maya could just convince me to play some Chiron in casuals. Thanks.
Hey man, I did it just the other night while I was doing stream. I might have been drunk and I might have played terribly, but Was that last night? I think it was last night. Yeah.
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 Yes.
Don't go back and watch those VODs. It was bad. But anyways, back to the game at hand here.
All right, well, let's actually talk about the game, and let's go back to this mid matchup.
Yeah,
Raj Chaka.
Big Bob's taking some damage early, does not have that same kind of pressure he did. We've seen less ganks coming out from Mark, really trying to focus on that farm, not get behind over in that solo side like he did last game. And it seems to be okay so far. Kitten's on taking a little bit of damage and having to go back. Simple Fate looking for his red buff there. So pretty even so far. Not a whole lot of incredible pressure anywhere. We saw the duo lane from Boony Gang pushing up to that tower line almost immediately in this game and have not found the same pressure since. But Rapid Carnation making his presence known, and it forces the Resistance duo lane to back off just by him standing there, which makes sense. Austin's pretty low on mana, and Hercules doesn't have a whole lot of Omi to spend if he decided to walk right in on that. So, yeah, huge damage coming out from the Chiron one there as the Oracles are going to fall in favor of Mark Wings. So, little bit of extra farm there on the left side as Boony Gang using that pressure to get that mid-left Harpy over toward the duo end. Now, this game, I feel a little bit more relaxed. They're letting me talk a little bit. Not as much of that action early. We are 4 minutes in, still no kills, but a lot more farming. Feels a lot more clinical from both sides. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no. In game one, every time I tried to analyze something for the first 20 minutes, I get cut off. So I'm so glad that I can actually talk for this game. But yeah, no, this is much more laid back, and I think a lot of that has to do with this mid matchup between the Chang'e and the Raijin. Chang'e has a much better matchup into the Raijin, in my personal opinion, because the Thoth can just consistently poke out the Chang'e, and Thoth has 3 charges that he can toss at any time and do tons of damage. As we do see a gank come out onto left lane, so
Yeah, there's that duo lane gank as the dash from Chiron is in. Dharmic Pillars dropped. The enemy jungler is there after the Athena ult comes down. Huge stun from Hercules keeps them off, and it is a 0 for 0. But look out, Simple Fate on the Chang'e doing the rotation, as well as Big Bops coming in and doing massive damage, getting him down to half health. Look at the W key, the dash in from Big Bops stopped. His ult is stopped by the pillar. Simple Fate picking up the return kill though. Oh, and uses the 2 to get out of the Athena taunt. A fantastic use of the immunity. Makes sure that's only a 1-for-1 trade. That is an absolute clinical W key from Big Bops, doing that big damage even through a fantastic pillar by Austin the Great. Yamoja ult is dropped, and Boony Gang is going to have to retreat there. So Hercules using the Emoja ult, but Boomy House might fall between the tier 1 and tier 2 as Simple Fate does find the kill there, but Big Bops, after respawning, comes on into that middle lane and does some damage. A rotation here. Look out. Enemy God sitting on the right mid lane there. We haven't talked a whole lot about him early in this game. Just felt a lot more clinical from Boony Gang, able to stop him, or from It's the Resistance, able to stop enemy from W keying into the enemy jungle, but he is still at top net worth. I think he's still got so much pressure there.
he does.
Yeah, I mean, gonna be hard to stop that. But over in solo lane, we have a huge battle, but in duo, the Athena ult comes out as the counter rotation from Boomy House. Just a taunt doing big damage, and Impale gets the Athena off, but he has the dash there and ready. Chino Del Rey picking up the kill on Austin the Great as this counter rotation comes in, and almost a kill for Raijin.
Raiju did
Boomy is looking for the kill though. Dashes in through tower, doesn't find that last hit on Mark Wings. So you got a Yamoja coming back.
yeah.
So that fight there was
Talk about turning it from 0 to 100 real quick.
yeah, really. Yeah, I mean, we saw just a little bit of a gank. Mark Wings just showing his face in the duo lane, and guess what? Boomy House ulting in. Oh, excuse me, Big Bops walking over as fast as he can. That is a speedy man coming from that mid lane with the Vampiric Shroud and full boots, just absolutely running his way over to duo lane, finding the big damage there and finding the kill. So yeah, nothing but 0 to 100. As soon as Mark showed his face, he had two more from Boony Gang there to back up their boys.
But we did see the benefit of having this Chiron. Chiron went into his ult, and with the extended you can call them basics, right? Because they're basically basics. He with the extended basics, he was able to pick up the kill onto Austin, even though he was like twice the range of his normal autos. So that's the benefit of having a Chiron in lane. That ult just does so much for you if to clean up a kill.
You can't stop
Yeah.
me.
So over in this duo lane, Hercules making his presence known. Odin ult traps the Guan Yu in there, but that damage is disgusting. I mean,
That's a I'm not trapped in here with you. You are trapped in here with me moment.
yeah, and out of the mid lane, Simple Fate falls off of the ultimate from Boomy House. I believe that was an ultimate and a dash in from Rapid Carnation, able to do some big damage on Simple Fate. The Dharmic Pillars, I believe, were dropped as well. So just big damage coming out of these tanks from Boony Gang. I mean, enemy just absolutely racking up the damage. Boomy House just able to rotate on a dime. Rapid Carnation just able to suppress this team as the Odin is looking low, jumped over the wall to get his blue buff, but found his own death instead. And
Look out.
the Yamoja ult crushing waves coming down just to zone them out, and they're going to go their separate ways. So just continuous good fights from Boony Gang here are just going to allow them to get that pressure. This is a 3K gold lead at the 10-minute mark, Raptor.
Yeah.
What do you think going on forward?
I mean, it's pretty much as we predicted that Boony Gang would have the better early game. And this is just kind of what we wanted to see at Resistance before in game one, is how do they translate a lead into the late game. Now, given in game one, it's the Resistance didn't really have a lead, it was just Mark Wings snowballing. So this is a little bit better for Boony Gang, but it's going to be interesting to see how they translate it into a late game comp like it's the Resistance.
Absolutely. I am interested to see this build as the Athena taunt comes out under the tier 1 tower, pulls Hercules a little bit out, but doesn't find enough damage. I'll be interested to see what these builds are going forward from It's the Resistance. I want to see a lot more pen in their build. They need to be able to take down these tanks. Enemy God needs to die. Booming House needs to die. Rapid Carnation needs to die. Because, I mean, these guys are the main brunt of their front line, and I mean, you're getting a lot of dive from an Athena, but I mean, if you have that pen, you can melt her. She doesn't do that much damage. I mean, she does, but she doesn't do as much as a traditional jungler would, just because of stats, right? Athena ult coming out over toward the left side. Oh, I wasn't sure what was going on there. Sorry about that, but yeah, just based on stats, Athena's still a guardian at the end of the day. She's not going to do that same amount of damage as you would see out of a regular assassin. So, they need this pen. They need to take down these tanks, as the huge blink taunt coming in from Boomy House is going to try to catch Simple off guard. Dharmic Pillars are dropped, but Oh my, wow. The Tsukiyomi ult coming in, big damage being done. Big Bops found a ultimate. Austin the Great found a counter ultimate. Simple Fate picking up the kill on Rapid Carnation, and this is a turn fight for It's the Resistance. But
It
look out, healing being done. Yamoja trying to keep her teammates alive. Simple Fate falls in the mid lane after a dive from enemy. Big Bop's looking low, getting dove by an Odin, but Odin's the only one there. He needs to find this kill as It's the Resistance is getting chased down beneath their own tier 2 tower, and the heals coming out from Yamoja as Boony Gang moves over toward the red buff. So I believe that was a 2-for-1 trade.
Yes.
I believe it was Boomy and Rapid falling in turn for Simple Fate. So a
It
2-for-1 trade in favor of It's the Resistance, but Boony is going to take the lead or take the momentum off that fight and turn it into a Gold Fury here. So overall, that's a big win for Boony Gang.
It really is. I mean, we saw right there the difference between a Guan Yu rotating and a Odin rotating. Guan Yu got the kill under the tier 1 tower in a 2v1 situation. Odin used his ult, locked in a 25% health Big Bops, and wasn't able to get the kill. Guan Yu will do a lot by himself. Odin needs a team to follow him up, and that was what turned that fight. Was that Achilles went in by himself onto Big Bops, while Enemy went in on his back line onto Is the Resistance backline and just made a big difference, getting a kill on the Simple, doing massive damage to everyone else, and you just
Oh, as
cannot.
a big fight breaks out here in that mid lane, Big Bop's using that ultimate, but gets caught in the Yamoja ult. He is looking low as the Tsukiyomi ult comes out. No kill is found, though. So Tsukiyomi diving, really looking on the Raijin, but does not find the kill as Athena dashes in. That's a Guan Yu ult as well, and Athena uses that taunt, gets the kill on Mark Wings. Yamoja looking in a little awkward position, uses the portals to get out, but doesn't find the full way out. Enemy God picking up another kill in these fights. Just dummy damage coming out from this Guan Yu as they are stuck between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers. This team is just doing nothing but pushing.
And that's what their comp is designed to do. Their comp is designed to be, hey, we got 3 guys who you cannot kill. They also do tons of damage. They're gonna run at you. Meanwhile, we have 2 guys that you can't kill because they're so elusive in the background. They're gonna do tons of damage. What are you gonna do?
Look
And
out. Boomy's looking low. Can't engage on this fight. So It's the Resistance might look for a turnaround here. Although the Athena ult is up, she is going to back and then ult her way back in. So this will be a 5-for-5 at the end of the day. Odin using a bird bomb to go in. It's 1v3, though. He is caught out of position. Athena ult coming in on Enemy God. Jumps down, does big damage. Boomy House finding the kill on Achilles JC as the dive under tower. Boomy is caught. Mark Wings picking up that kill. 1-for-1 so far in this team fight. Looking forward on Enemy, who is awkwardly up in mid lane, but they're not going to be able to punish that at all. So overall 1-for-1 fight there, but Enemy wants more. He's looking to dive in as he is stopped in the Tulao assault, but cavalry charge comes in, but he cancels it for some reason. Not quite sure why, but
great input there, Jeremy, by the way.
yeah.
Dude, what?
I mean, with all these backs and canceling the backs and using cavalry charge and canceling it, I wouldn't go without saying it might be BM, but I don't know. It might have just been a fat finger.
I was gonna bring that up. I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I was just gonna stay quiet, but
Yeah. But over in this duo lane,
so it doesn't really matter.
over in this duo lane, Mark Wings looking to try to find Chino in awkward position. He's backing, though. United to do something quick, and there is the response. Just the stop of the back. Chino looking to dive toward his teammates that are going through the Gold Fury pit. Mark Wings looking to do big damage. Finds the ult on all 3. Huge hits. So many jumps. And The Kyron is gonna fall after not finding any kills, and his ult looks for Austin the Great, who is low. Boomy House finding the kill on that one. Big Bops finding Hercules, and this is just such a good grouping from
Mhm.
Boony Gang, able to find these kills, the huge rotations. Big Bops, Boomy, able to pick some kills off. That is a 3-for-1 trade. They walked over into that duo lane expecting to take Chino off guard. Chino said, hey, let's just lead you into the rest of my team. 3-for-1 trade, Boony Gang.
Yeah, Athena does so much damage. I mean, she does so much damage. She's tanky without building any tank. It's crazy. And while we're talking about builds, shifters and brawlers on Boony, on Chino.
Yeah, I mean we've seen these we've seen some a cavalry charge back into the back end. Boony Gang looking to engage here, but doesn't quite find anything. They're looking awkwardly in this jungle. Might looking for a rotation from Achilles JC, uh, who has been trying to farm up and stay on level with Enemy God, has been doing a pretty okay job at it, but is still a little bit low in the gold numbers. It's Boony Gang rather looking for this Oni Fury at the left side. Yeah, we've seen a lot of these hybrid builds going on. I know a lot of pro players have been doing it on stream, just trying out something new. We've seen shifters, shield, brawlers, these really hybrid, half tank, half half attack speed items. I mean, we might see a berserkers coming out from Chino at some point too, to get even more of that kind of tanky background. These hybrid builds have been something that we've been seeing on ADCs. I know we haven't seen a lot of it in the QSL yet so far, but it might be something that could get picked up a little bit more often soon.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, just to jump in here, on Jungle, I've been playing a significant amount of hybrid builds. They're very, very fun and good,
Hybrid,
especially onto certain ones.
Yeah, hybrid build's really strong right now, especially with that shifter's shield. Especially, I mean, even when you're building full ADC, you're still building berserker's shield at this point. At least I am. Uh, I, you know, I suggest it. That's just such a really good item right now. And these hybrid builds really need to make use of it as well.
For sure. And I think that shifters is a really good item right now.
Oh,
As
Athena ult coming over into this solo lane. Odin using the ult to get away, and he is successful. So an ult for an ult. Boomy able to ult over, force Achilles to get out, and that is a 5-man rotation onto that solo lane. But look out, Odin looking to stick around even though his team is there. I think he is just going to confirm that that is still a push up. They're going to counter push this left lane. Guan Yu teleports over to stop that counter push, and there's really not a whole lot that Austin the Great can do there. So the counter push is stopped at left lane. Right lane, they find that tier 2 tower after the full grouping from Boony Gang. But look out. Simple Fate might be in an awkward position at mid lane, the only one there. Enemy God just W keying Austin the Great. There is really not a whole lot he could do about that. Aegis coming out. He's gonna have to use he's gonna have to try to use Impel there, but might have still had it on cooldown as he falls under his tier 2 tower. Enemy God just doing so much damage, just has so much pressure. Nothing that Achilles JC could do there. As Simple Fate falls in this mid lane, the Raijin ult coming out as Diamond Pillars are dropped in the right side jungle. A blink taunt coming out from Athena, doing some damage, catching Mark off guard, but doesn't find enough for a kill there. As a huge Odin ult comes out, locks Boomy House in there. He might fall, but not before claiming Achilles' life first. Mark Wings finds that final kill on Boomy House, but the big damage from Big Bops, the big ohm from Rapid Carnation, and Mark cannot get out of there. So that is a 4-for-1 trade at the end of that fight. I mean, Austin is still has since respawned. It has been quite a while, but in a elongated fight there, Austin would count toward that 4-for-1 trade in favor of Boony Gang. 10K gold lead so far. These net worth charts are insane. I mean, we can't talk enough about how well Enemy God has been just power farming in these games, but they know that it's the resistance is over on that left side, and I don't think Boony Gang, or sorry, I don't think it's the resistance knows that this fire giant is being started up as the Athena ult comes in. They are completely oblivious to it, so there will be no contest on that fire giant there, as I believe they're just going to look up to group up and defend. Two ults down being used on that fire giant, Boomies and Rapids. So it's the resistance, obviously not knowing that, are going to be careful about taking fights here and are just going to look to defend.
My biggest problem with how it's the resistance is playing right now is that they are playing to the strength of Boony Gang. Boony Gang is a pick comp through and through. They want to take the advantage fights where it's 3-on-5, 4-on-5. They would prefer 1-on-5, obviously, but they want to make it so that the team fight, is always in their favor numbers wise. It's the resistance is spread out across the map all the time. I don't think they've grouped up for 5 once when they are built for that 5v5 engagement with multiple team fighting ults. So they need to start playing around this Odin, grouping up as 5 instead of getting picked one by one.
Yeah, really tough so far. I don't think I've seen a true 5v5 uh, I don't think I've seen a true 5v5 fight for ITR so far this game. They have really struggled to fully group up and fully take these fights. They are really they're looking to pick one here, and that might be the turning point. But if they can't find a good team fight here, it's looking to be game, as Boony Gang is going to use this current 14K gold advantage to push toward this left Phoenix. They have a 5-man grouping going toward it. They're trying to look, seeing if they could split. Here is the fight. It is 5v5 underneath this Phoenix. A huge Emoji ult coming up, catches 3 of Boony Gang inside of it, but they're able to get out. They're able to get away. Mark Wings diving the back, looking for kills, doesn't find any, is going to fall. Enemy God picking up the kill on Simple Fate, so he is going to fall. There goes Achilles as well. Here it is, just Yamoja, just Austin the Great, and Austin the Great is going to fall as well. So here falls the Yamoja as well. The huge taunt coming out from Pog, Boomy 7 Pog. That is a 5-for-0 fight for Boony Gang, and they are going to take game 2 and the set.
This is exactly what I was talking about, was kind of what its resistance needed to do in game 1. They played around that Odin, they played around the lockdown so well. They got not only the Phantom Veil, but they got the Cursed Ankh as well. And both of them were popped in that fight. Both of them got them out of that jam, got them out of that lockdown. And so they were able to back up, reset, force Mark Wing, force Achilles to come to them, and they split up to fight, which is exactly what you want to do if you're Boony Gang. So it's a 5v2 essentially. They collapse onto the divers, and in the end, that team fight just went south as soon as that Phantom It was popped.
Yeah, what I want to see more from It's the Resistance is that 5-man team fight. I mean, we talked about it at the end of the game. We didn't quite see it throughout the game from It's the Resistance. Just this ITR team fight needed to happen. They needed to play around the Odin ult, around the Emoja ult. They almost had it there at that Phoenix push. They caught 4 of them out. They were able to push. They were able to try to take that fight, but they pushed up. They pushed out of Phoenix. They should have taken their advantages where they came from, and really used that to win that team fight. But instead, they pushed up beyond Phoenix, got caught out. Mark got picked out, then Simple got picked out, then Achilles got picked out, then Austin, then Herc, one by one by one by one by one, and there is nothing that ITR could have done by the time even one or two of them were picked out of that fight. I think that they should have taken the advantages where they came in those late fights, but also you have a 6-0 enemy god, yeah, on Guan Yu. You have a 7-4 Boomy House on Athena just doing dummy damage. The Chiron, I mean 3-1. Chino had so much pressure in that game, especially early on in that lane. So much wave clear, so much ability to push up, really had such an impact on that game. I mean, pretty much every lane in Boony Gang had a lead, and it was just because of some of those early fights that just went in favor of Boony Gang, and they carried the lead all the way to the end. They did a fantastic job of playing with that lead, playing to their strengths, and ITR went with a full team fight comp, but I don't think that they played around it as much as I think they wish they would have. So, at the end of the day, I think ITR just played some really fundamental early game, but they're trying to take these better team fights, and I want to see more from them as a 5-man grouping. But
Mhm.
overall, I don't think that they played that bad in the early game.
Yeah, no, for sure. The problem was the mid to late game. And this is something that turned the game from being fairly even to just a straight um to a straight Booney Gang win. And that was Booney Gang knew that if they went into the 5v5 team fights, they had an uphill battle. So they played around their comp's strength, which was picks. It's the Resistance did not play around their comp strength at all. Achilles did not get into a single one of these team fights. There wasn't a single 5v5 team fight until that one around the Phoenix. And even then, um, Booney Gang knew to just back it up as soon as they got that Umoja and Odin alt out. They used the Phantom Veil to back it up and play to their strength again, which was picks. And so they spread out the team and they end up going, okay, down goes Mark. Okay, down goes Achilles. Okay, down goes Simple, etc., etc. And they really won the game off of that. They played their comp strength better than It's the Resistance did. And that really makes me question, why did you pick up the Odin? Like, Achilles clearly doesn't look very comfortable on it. It's possible he had a very bad game. It's possible he just had a bad game, and this is actually something that they've practiced with. They knew it worked, and he just had a bad game. But the Odin they did not use hardly at all. Like you get the Odin for that cage for the team fights, and he only got one cage in that game during a team fight. So why it really makes me question that Odin pick.
Yeah, I mean, the Odin pick, I don't I don't think it's that bad for team fights, but I mean, just early game against that Guan Yu, there's just got to be something more. Kulin was on the board. You had a possible King Arthur pick, or I know Sun Wukong was banned, but uh, you know. I just think that there's better solo laners out there that could have kept up better in that early game with Enemy God, and I don't think Odin was the move.
No, not at all. Yeah, and we're not going to blame this entirely on the Achilles by
No, not at all.
no, this was a fundamental mistake by It's the Resistance by all 5 members by not playing around their comp strength, which is the team fights.
And I mean, it's not even. I don't want to say it was fundamental mistakes, rather than, uh, just didn't play to the strengths. When I think of fundamental mistakes, I think of not farming lane correctly, or playing really dumb, or and being caught out at all times. I don't really think that ITR was ever found way out of position, like it for consistently the whole game, right? I think when it comes to ITR, they it's not that they played fundamentally bad, but I think that they could have played better to their strengths. I think is better wording for it, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And I 100% agree with you. And if I'm looking back at that game, I'm sure that there's more problems we can pick out, but that's just the big one that comes to my mind. It makes me wonder if they had played around those team fights a little bit more. If they had started pulling 5v5 fights earlier, would we see a different result in this game?
All right, so going forward, I see we have a interview here. I didn't ask for an interview, but Simple Fate has offered himself up for one. I got just a few questions for him if he is here. He did join our chat.
I'm here. I was just chilling.
Yeah, our boy's here.
Hey,
So
Sim.
Simple, you were one of the surprises of the night. You'll see if you watch the early cast going into P's and B's. Oh, we got interviewees from both teams. All right, I'll try to keep it short. I'll try to keep it 2-3 questions each. But Simple, you were one of the big surprises of the night from my perspective. You'll see if you watch this one back in P's and B's. I had the rosters completely wrong for both teams. Did not expect to see you tonight in this mid lane. We saw Mark going to the jungle, playing pretty well there. But Simple, how'd you feel in that mid lane, and how you think you played tonight?
I don't think I played bad. Team synergy was a little off. We've been trying to get it in practice a little more. I think the more we practice, the better we'll get. I don't think anybody did bad on our team. Just some rough matchups, upskill matchups. Boony's a very good team. They have very strong players. But other
Yeah,
than that, I don't think we did too bad. I don't think I did too bad. There's things we need to work on that we know. But other than that, I think we all around improving.
absolutely. We see this ITR squad just get better and better every week. I thought they played fantastic against Kepui Suns last week. Fantastic tonight here against Boony Gang. Simple. I don't think anyone on the team played bad either. I mean, it is just a team synergy thing. That you guys need to, just find your 5v5 synergy, which comes with time, as you said. But Simple, you played Changa twice tonight. Walk me through that pick.
I don't play mid. I get
I
like a god pool of 5 in mid, so that's Chonga's my best, and that's what I try to put out there.
Simple. I know you're a big solo lane guy. You've been playing that Changa solo.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm Diamond Masters in right now. I mean, ranked.
There you go. And Simple, you were bopping there late game. You're doing some big damage numbers, at least in the late game of game one, and you just had such good survivability. I want to talk a little bit about your ability to stay alive game one, keep away from that set that was diving you. Last question of the night. What was your game plan going into that late game of game one?
Whoever dies me gets ulted, and then after that I just clean up because I can just dance around and most people can't hit their ability.
There you go.
But it was a very man trying to dive a Donzo in a Thoth is definitely hard.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Simple Fate. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
joining us tonight. And good games. Moving forward, we also have Chino Del Rey here with us. How you doing tonight, Chino?
Yeah, it's going well. I was just hanging out and I saw you guys in caster chat, so I said, "Here I am. I offer my presence, the Chino of Race."
Yes,
So yeah,
the
everything going well
Chino
here.
of Rays himself. So Chino, we saw the Donza. Donza gets banned. We see the Kyron. Walk us through the picks. What are you thinking?
I was like, I like Chiron. I'm just gonna go ahead and play this. Do you guys mind? And everyone's like, yeah, go ahead. And that was basically it. I mean, just I don't know. Sometimes I just like to have a little bit of fun. I guess I don't know. I think there are better picks on the board, but I kind of like the cleanse. Not that I had anything to cleanse really, outside of maybe one Suki stun on the gank, and that was pretty much it. So you know.
Hey man, man, with how we've been performing these past couple weeks, last week on the Kernos, this week on the Chiron, I can understand why your team just said, yeah, play. They trust you with any god over there in the carry role.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a lot of playtime because, work, but, when I get off work, I'm like, I can't play the same god every night. That just gets kind of boring. So I was like, let's play some Chiron. Plus, Chiron's kind of fun.
Now, Chino, if you listen back through the games, you'll see us comment on your game or on your build early in game 2. We've seen a lot in ranked and casuals. I've seen a lot of Bluestone Chiron, but you went with some normal Death's Toll and then into a hybrid build. Run us through your game 2 build.
Because I don't. The Bluestone gives you a little bit of extra damage on the ability procs, which Chiron has, 3 abilities and an ult. But I like the Death Soul just for the mana sustain. And then I go the shifters because I was getting a lot of attention, so that little bit of protection can keep me alive just a bit longer to get off my damage. And it also is a 70 power item, which is something I kind of like to get in that first slot if I'm not going a stacking item. So I get that shifter shield. It's pretty cheap. I think it's, what is it, 2,500? So 2,500 gold for 70 power. And then the extra was it 35 prots when I get below 50% or 40% health, whatever it is. It seems kind of nice. So Chiron gets a lot of pow. So instead of getting the extra damage procs, I just have more power to the abilities. So, and then I got a brawlers because they got healing. I was like, I'll pick up a brawlers for a flat pen in that slot. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So last question before I let you go.
Sure.
I saw in general chat in between games, your team talking about having you use your Donza more as peel, uh, rather than kills late game. You went 4-7, but your team absolutely fragged when they were around you. Walk us through your Donza strategy in those late game team fights.
Mm, Typically, I'm very aware. When there's dive on the back line, typically your carries want to sit together, so I'm always looking at where my mid laner is, so that I can put damage on the diver and hopefully, go 2v1 on the diver like the jungler, so we can get a pick, and then we can go 5v4 pushing forward. And then when they group around frontliners, I just like to throw my taunt in there because it blocks a couple of autos, and it just kind of zones an area where they can be taunted in. So it's just kind of nice utility, and I think that might have been my 6th game on Donza. I've got a couple in some league sets, but I don't know. Seems straightforward, and then sometimes you shoot the rocket in, although sometimes I forget to get in, so I CC that. You know, could use
Yeah,
some more practice, but the kit seems overall easy enough to use.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Chino, and
yeah.
great games tonight. Congratulations on the wins.
All right, thank you. Yeah, have a good night,
Have a
ladies
great
and
night,
gentlemen.
Chino.
See you.
Bye.
The Chino of Rays, everybody. So,
So,
last
oh,
things. Sorry. Go ahead, Raptor.
well, I was just gonna bring up that with tonight's sets, that takes It's the Resistance record to 1-4 and Boony Gang's record to 3-2. And I mean, just looking at these divisions, like Oni division versus Primal division is looking incredibly strong as It's the Resistance, the third place team in the Oni division, has the pretty much the exact same record. Now Kepwe hasn't played yet this week, but um, Kepwe Suns is 1-3. Is the Resistance is 1-4. Kepwe's bottom of the Primal. Like Primal division is looking incredibly strong compared to this Oni division.
Yeah, absolutely. These divisions are shaping up as we go later on in the season into the All-Star break next week, which, by the way, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it too much, but All-Star voting will be happening over this weekend. So please take a look out in the Discord. We'll throw it in the regular Discord. We'll throw it in the community Discord. Vote for All-Stars this weekend. That voting will go out tomorrow. So So we are gonna go ahead and get that voting started soon. So All-Star break next week, but divisions are looking up to be strong. I mean, we have this primal division just with 4 teams just battling it out, and like it just every single team in that primal division just feels so close, so hard to tell who's going to take it. I mean, we have so much talent. I mean, everywhere through the league, but uh, everyone in primal division is just looking so strong.
They really are, and this is shaping up to be a great end to the season. Now we still have 2 weeks. We still have to
I
finish
mean,
out.
you say end of the season, we're not even halfway through it. All
We're
Star
not
break is going to mark halfway.
I'm just saying that we still have 2 weeks after this week. We still have to finish out this week. But after the All Star break, we have 2 weeks of off ad conference play, and then we have the final 3 weeks of in conference play before um, playoffs. And those final 3 weeks, specifically in this Primal division, are going to be fun to watch because all 4 of these teams are really, really close. And that's not to take anything away from Oni division. I think that those will be fun to watch as well. It's always fun to watch 2 teams battle it out, but this Primal division specifically is going to be really close.
Absolutely. So we've done quite a lot of talking here, Raptor. My voice is starting to get parched, and I still have a podcast to record tonight. So without further ado, let's do one last wipe through. All of us pick our MVPs for the set, and then let's sign out here. Jeremy, I'm going to start with you.
No, fuck. Dang, really putting me on the spot here. I was doing other caster related shit.
Apologies.
That's fine. The person who I liked most in this game, I mean, gotta give it up to our favorite washed mid laner, Kittens. You know how it is. I feel like Raijin doesn't get a lot of respect lately. He's coming back into the meta, at least in this league. I don't know how it's gonna pan out in the other pro leagues, but I just feel like he had a lot of influence on this game. Those alts are crucial. Remember that his alt does not only do damage, but it also fears. Those can burn beads. And I think it was the most impactful, other than the epic ganks and counter yanks by Pog Boomy, but I will give it in the end to Kittens.
Raptor, go ahead.
I mean, I'm gonna say the same thing. I think that Big Bops in both games just did a lot of work, and I think it's a really close contest between him and Enemy. Now, once again, like we said in game one, all five of these are all five of these players are really good picks for this MVP spot. All of them did what their jobs really well, but I'm gonna give it to Big Bops just because he was able to free cast through most of this game, and a lot of that is thanks to his teammates. But him free casting won a lot of these fights for his team. So I'm gonna give it to Kittens, even though I want to give a shout out to the other 4 members because it's a team game after all.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. Big Bop's doing a lot of damage, able to free cast, but I don't think he's my vote for MVP because, as I said in game one, you don't get to free cast without Peel. Enemy God, just so suppressive on that Guan Yu at all times, able to do so much damage any point in the game. Took a lot of farm away from the enemy team in both games. Had highest gold in the game both games. Uh, you know, so much player damage, so much suppression, so much CC. It's just got to go to Enemy God for me. So, without further ado, that is It's the Resistance and Boony Gang, with Boony Gang taking the overall set 2 games 2-0. We had a couple banger games tonight. So, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a great cast. So thank you to my main man Jeremy or Rectoplasm on camera, my main man Raptor.exe on my chair too. My name is Bonsai Joe. Thank you for joining us here on the Quack and Smite League, and have a wonderful night.